Eddington, Massachusetts wasn't the kind of town people moved to. It was the kind you escaped. Nestled between forested hills and forgotten highways, it sat draped in a fog that rarely lifted. Its streets were cracked, its storefronts faded. The very air felt like it belonged to something old and watching. For Claire Hallberg, Eddington had always been a place of unfinished stories. She left 20 years ago and never once looked back, until the letter arrived. It came on a Monday. A thick, matte black envelope lay on the floor inside her Chicago apartment. No postage, no return address. Just her name, written in a flowing, almost oily ink. The moment her fingers touched it, the air around her seemed colder. Inside was a single card. Class of 2005, 20-year reunion. October 31st. One night only, Eddington High School, North Wing. We've been waiting. RSVP required. No RSVP number. No organizing committee listed. Just the words. We've been waiting. Claire dropped the card like it burned. She hadn't spoken of Eddington in 2 decades. Not to friends, not to colleagues, not even to her therapist. Especially not about the north wing of the school, the place where it all went wrong. In the fall of 2005, 5 students disappeared. They vanished one by one over the course of a week. The police called it a group runaway, said they'd probably joined some cult or hopped a bus out west, but Claire knew better. They hadn't run. They were taken. She remembered the hallways growing colder even when the heaters were on, the flickering lights, the way reflections in the mirrors didn't quite match, and most of all, the thing she saw crawling out of the janitor's closet during detention one late October evening. It didn't have a name, but it watched, and once it marked you, it waited. Claire escaped Eddington 3 days before Halloween. She packed her things in the middle of the night, left a note for her parents, and boarded a Greyhound to Chicago. She never went back. But Claire wasn't the only one who got the letter. David King, her ex-boyfriend, opened his envelope in Seattle, where he now ran a moderately popular conspiracy podcast. His hands trembled as he read it, then immediately called his brother and told him to watch his dog. Monica Reyes, the drama queen turned twice-divorced realtor in Dallas, shrieked when the name tag inside the envelope spelled her full name, middle name included, in a script she hadn't used since high school. Marcus Bell, the quiet trombone player from band class, now a cybersecurity analyst in London, hadn't spoken a word in years. After reading his letter, he booked a flight instantly. Priya Malhotra, student body president and Eddington's brightest star, received her envelope during a conference in New York. She sat alone in her hotel bathroom for 2 hours, staring at the ceiling. Each one of them had memories they'd buried, of the missing, of the darkness in the school, of room 104, and of a whisper that came from places it shouldn't. Now something or someone wanted them back. October 30th, 2025. Claire crossed the old iron bridge into Eddington. Fog curled around her tires. The leaves had turned blood orange and rust. The wind carried a silence that felt rehearsed. The town hadn't changed. The diner was still open, though its neon sign only blinked the D and R. The library remained boarded up, as if still waiting for funding that never came. The gas station clerk watched her from behind the glass, unmoving. She drove slowly past Eddington High. The building loomed like a prison, red brick, black moss, and iron railings. Time had yellowed the windows. The gate creaked as if it remembered her car. And strangest of all, The north wing, long condemned, was lit up. Lights glowed in the hallway windows, curtains flinched, and a faint music box melody floated across the wind. Claire pulled into the parking lot and sat still, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. "Just one night," she whispered. "Face it, find closure, leave." But some part of her, the part still 16 and terrified, knew there would be no closure. Old faces, same shadows. The others arrived within the hour. David climbed out of his Jeep in a worn military jacket, eyes constantly scanning the treetops. Monica wore full makeup, red lipstick trembling. Priya looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. Marcus had grown tall, his glasses fogged from the cold. He nodded, but said nothing. They didn't hug, didn't laugh. This wasn't nostalgia, it was obligation. They were the ones who lived. And something remembered. A stranger in the hall. A pale man met them at the front steps. He wore a gray wool suit and carried a clipboard. His skin was oddly waxy, and his eyes seemed distant, like they belonged to someone else. "Welcome back," he said, without smiling. "Please sign in." Claire stepped forward cautiously. "Are you at the school?" He tilted his head. "Something like that." No name tag, no ID. Just that same off-kilter politeness that made her stomach twist. Still, she signed the paper, and beside each of their names, someone had already printed the words, "Marked, present, ready." Inside the walls, Eddington High hadn't changed. The smell of mildew, chalk dust, and floor wax lingered. The lockers still had peeling paint and broken combination dials. The overhead lights flickered every 7th second, without fail. But the further they walked in, the more off everything felt. The hallways were longer than they used to be. Doors appeared that no one remembered. And the portraits of the principals, once warm, smiling men and women, now had their eyes scratched out. Claire's footsteps echoed, even when she stopped walking. Something whispered her name from behind a closed classroom door, but when she turned, no one was there. Name tags. The gymnasium looked untouched, decorated with faded banners and a dusty table set up near the entrance. A cheap punch bowl sat at the center. Next to it, 6 name tags: Claire, David, Monica, Marcus, Priya, and the last one, Emily Rourke. Claire's breath caught in her throat. "No," she whispered. "She's dead." Emily disappeared on October 28th, 2005. Marcus picked up the name tag, staring at it like it might bite him. "She was the first," David murmured. "She went missing after drama practice. They found her script bag outside room 104, but never found her." A chill crawled down Claire's spine. She turned toward the gym entrance and froze. At the far end of the room, just beneath the banner that read, "Welcome back, class of 2005, stood a girl in a cheerleading uniform. Blonde, pale, eyes black as burnt coal, not aged a day. Emily. "Welcome back," she said, voice echoing unnaturally. "I've been waiting." Claire backed away. "What is this? What are you?" Emily tilted her head, eyes widening. "You all left, but this place, it remembers, it never forgets." Monica clutched Claire's arm. "We shouldn't be here." Suddenly, the gym lights snapped off. They were plunged into darkness. Only Emily's silhouette remained, glowing faintly, impossibly. Some memories don't want to be forgotten. And neither do I. The loudspeaker crackled above them. A recorded voice, maybe an old principal's, echoed through the gym. "Class of 2005, we hope you enjoy your stay. Please, make yourselves comfortable. You won't be leaving." The doors behind them slammed shut. They were sealed inside, trapped, hunted. Claire turned to the camera that blinked in the corner of the gym and said, half to herself, half to anyone watching, "If anyone sees this, anyone, subscribe to this story, share it. Someone has to know what's happening here. We're not alone." Let me know when you're ready for Act 2, where the haunting escalates and secrets from 2005 begin to unravel. The gym lights returned, but dimmer this time, flickering like a candle fighting wind. Emily was gone. In her place, the 6 name tags now lay scattered on the floor, torn, edges blackened as if singed. The air was heavy, like the weight of an invisible hand pressing on their chests. Claire stared at the doors. They were bolted from the outside. David ran to the windows, but they were bricked up behind the curtains. "We're sealed in," Marcus whispered. "This place, it's changed. It's feeding off something." "What does it want?" Monica cried. Priya's voice trembled. "Not what? Who? We were marked." The north wing beckons. The speakers crackled again. "Please proceed to room 104. Attendance is mandatory." That voice. It wasn't a recording, it was alive. Something just pretending to be human. The 5 of them hesitated, eyes flicking to one another. No one wanted to say it, but they all knew. That's where it began. Room 104 had been sealed after the disappearances. Rumors said a janitor hung himself inside. Others whispered about chalk circles, mutilated textbooks, and something scratching from the walls. Claire took a deep breath. "We go. Together. Find out what it wants, and end it." They moved through the hallway in silence. The school had transformed. Every corner they turned, the layout shifted. The lockers stretched taller, almost to the ceiling. Classrooms they'd once known now displayed names they didn't recognize. History of flesh, intro to echoes, advanced binding. The paintings along the hallway bled at the corners. The intercom whispered names of the missing: Emily, Joshua, Ray, David, Claire. "Wait, did you hear that?" David said, stopping near the science lab. "It said my name." Claire looked at him, eyes narrowed. "Don't listen. It wants us to remember, but not what's real. It wants to replace it." They reached room 104. The door was still painted dark green, but now covered in handprints. Some child-sized, others not, and carved into the wood with something sharp. "Welcome back." The classroom. Within. Claire pushed the door open. Inside, the desks were arranged in a perfect circle. On each sat a faded yearbook photo, their faces from senior year, eyes scratched out, mouths sewn with ink. Candlelight flickered, though there were no candles. The blackboard read, "Those who flee must return. Those who stayed must suffer." Now each must remember what they gave and what they took. A cold wind rushed from the vents. Marcus clutched his coat tighter. "Something's under this room," he muttered. "It's not just haunted, it's anchored." David crossed to the teacher's desk. On it sat a dusty VHS tape labeled, "Final lesson, play me." The old TV set clicked on with a harsh buzz, static. Then, the image of the 6 of them, Claire, David, Monica, Marcus, Priya, and Emily, sitting in the same circle, 20 years younger, laughing, chatting. But behind them, a shadow moved on the walls. A tall, twisted figure with 2 long limbs and a face that blurred whenever the camera tried to focus. David paled. "We were recorded? That night? That's not possible." The TV glitched. Screams echoed, blood splattered across the lens. The shadow figure grew, tendrils reaching toward the camera. Then the screen went black and whispered, "You forgot me, but I remember you." Marcus breaks. Marcus stood abruptly, stumbling back. I can't do this again. It's inside the walls. It knows us." Claire moved to calm him, but he shoved her away. "The tunnels beneath the boiler room. That's where it takes them." Monica blinked. "What tunnels?" "I saw them back then. Emily was dragged into them. They twist under the school like veins." Suddenly the walls of room 104 groaned. Black liquid leaked from the floorboards. The desks rattled. The yearbook photos melted. "Run!" Claire shouted. The escape through memory. They bolted out the classroom as the room caved in behind them. The hallway had changed again. Lockers stretched into the ceiling, forming a grotesque rib cage. The lights above popped one by one. The floor seemed to pulse beneath their feet. And down the hall, the janitor's closet stood open, where Claire had once seen something crawl out all those years ago. Pre-appointed. There, stairs. It's real. The tunnels. As they raced into the darkness, a distant sound followed them, like a child humming a lullaby backwards. The tunnels beneath the stairs led to stone passages, etched with names, the missing students. At every corner, the walls whispered, "You left her. You watched. You knew." Claire grabbed a flashlight. The beam cut through the dark, landing on something ahead, a small red backpack. Emily's. She hadn't been taken. She had come down here. Willingly? They pressed deeper. The passage forked, left toward the boiler room, right toward what looked like an old underground auditorium. "Which way?" Monica asked. David turned toward the right tunnel. "That's where she is. I feel it." Claire hesitated. Her instincts screamed not to follow. But there was no turning back. The forgotten auditorium. The room smelled of rot and mildew. Old theater seats stood in rows, all facing a wooden stage. On it, a marionette puppet, its strings tangled in the rafters. It wore a cheerleader uniform. Its head twitched. Behind it hung a banner. "Class of 2005, the final show." Emily stepped out from the curtains, or something wearing Emily's skin. Her eyes were pits. Her smile stretched too wide. "You came," she said softly. "You never should have left me behind." Claire stepped forward. "We thought you were dead." "I was. And then, I wasn't." From the shadows behind her, the thing appeared. The host. Twisted limbs. Antlers made of rebar. A stitched mouth that never opened, but screamed nonetheless. The auditorium doors slammed shut. "Let the reunion begin."